Well, it has a lot to do with urban agriculture. Obviously, it's always the ideal solution to have some land either inside the city or adjoining the city, but it's not always realistic. And many larger cities are struggling with this right now. There's obviously a tension between agricultural uses and a growing city and the need for residential, commercial, industrial lands. And also with agriculture, you can't just save one or two farms. You need a contiguous sort of grouping of farms so that they can share, move around their equipment. They can have a veterinarian nearby for their livestock. So there definitely needs to be this critical mass. It's not just one farm here or there sort of scattered around. And also, as I mentioned before, you need to consider the next generation of farmers. So you need to have some support structures in place for the agricultural sector so that they can get trained, the next generation can learn, they can start small and sort of acquire more and more land. And the other issue is land gets quite expensive when you're on the periphery of a rapidly growing city. There's a lot of speculation that takes place. Not just in Edmonton, but every major city that's happening. So it's ideal, but it's definitely a challenge. In Edmonton, through the food strategy, we were able to preserve 200 hectares of farmland, but there's still challenges with that. The province is looking at putting a highway somewhere in that neighborhood, so that makes it very difficult for the farmers in that area. Just a personal observation, coming from Ontario a year ago, the culture in Alberta is definitely more pro landowner rights, so that makes it difficult for farmers close to big cities in Alberta. Whereas in Ontario, there's a green belt. It's the largest green belt in the world that surrounds Toronto, and it also goes through the Niagara region, and it goes up in Ottawa. There's a segment of it as well. So that does a lot to protect the agricultural lands, but there's still a challenge, like I said, on creating this next generation of farmers that can afford this land and have the skills to take on a 100-acre farm. So there's still a gap there. Also in Ontario, there's the Ontario Municipal Board, which is an appeals board for land use decisions. Pretty much anyone can appeal to that board. And that's another way that agricultural land may be preserved in Ontario. So there's definitely some different mechanisms that are happening at the provincial level in Ontario as compared to Alberta, and there's also a different culture. So.